Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode at this channel. This for a while now, I've been meaning to get a few things off my chest, and I thought, what better way to do it than a solo episode at this channel? Because at the end of the day, that is what I created this channel for, to kind of get myself out there while also providing some perspective, maybe to anybody watching who might be going through the same things. So, the biggest thing that I wanted to talk about was that I don't know about if anybody's watching, but the biggest fear that I've kind of had is wasting time, not money, not opportunities, just wasting time. And when I say wasting time, it's not about just wasting your time doom scrolling or just not doing anything productive. It's about wasting my time on the wrong things, even if what I'm doing is productive or is kind of work in certain manners. I feel like that is the one thing that has kind of shaped the way I live even to this day, that fear of wasting my time on the wrong thing. Because what it kind of ends up doing to me, it is that it kind of paralyzes me. It makes me believe that okay, I've started something. Now if I don't see a long term kind of prospect out of this, I feel like, am I wasting my time on the wrong thing? Am I doing the right things? Should I be doing something else? And I know it's kind of it might not sound too realistic because you don't see instant results. It takes time. But even putting that time in to kind of have the patience to wait for those results, that is where that fear comes in, where okay, am I wasting my time on the wrong thing over here, right? So it's something that kind of gets overwhelming at sometimes, and I thought, I think the best way for me to kind of not think about it too much was to in fact get it out there. So I was reflecting and I was thinking about all of these things, and I kind of realized that okay, this has happened to me a lot in my life. Obviously everybody has different cards dealt to them, and the cards that I'd been dealt kind of pushed me into the space where I just felt like okay, I don't have a backup, I don't have a plan B. I have to make this work, this being my life. Whatever I do with it, it has to work, right? And it kind of stems from that experience where I feel like, okay, if I have to make it work, then I have to make sure that whatever I'm putting my time and energy into, it is the right thing. I'm not putting my energy and time into something that might not go anywhere. But I do understand that, it's not the most ideal thing, because even when you fail, you do get something out of it. It's not that you get nothing out of it, which is the whole beauty of it, which is why it's so paradoxical, because you feel like you're wasting your time, but you are getting something out of it. So, just, kind of an example where, for example, growing up, I was a very dominant kid in school. Okay. There's students who are either very good at academics or they're very good at sports, or if you're, just amazing, then you're good at both. Right. Now, I belong to that category where I was exceptional at none. I was very bang average with my academics. Um, I was not that into sports, physically, that whole physical aspects that it requires. So I was a very dominant kid in school, and I didn't have many hobbies, I didn't have many interests. So I feel like that big part of my life, which is so crucial to your growth, your development, I feel like I completely kind of let that go. I kind of wasted it in ways, because I feel like it could have made me or shaped me to be much better growing up. But I wanted to make sure that I don't repeat that same experience when I'm coming into college. So I, kind of did my best to be more outgoing, to kind of talk to people, to take part in initiatives. And maybe here's what I realized, that if my schooling did not go the way it did, I would never have been the kind of man I am today through my college experiences, which is where the paradox of it comes in, because I feel like I completely wasted my time in school, but I did get something out of it. I got that urge, I got that drive, I got that motivation to kind of, make sure that I don't want my college experience to be the same as my schooling experience, where I want to make sure that whatever I'm doing, I'm making the most of my time, I am being more outgoing. So I think that's, just the beauty of it, where I felt that, okay, that part of my life when I was in school, it was just so dormant. It was just a whole lot of nothing. And I felt like I wasted so much of my time. But something did come out of it. It gave me that drive and that motivation to kind of do better, to be better in college. And it's kind of shaped the way I am today. So I have no complaints about it. This is the thing about time where, I have no control about what's happened in the past. But what I do have control over is my future, right? I have goals, I have expectations from myself, I set myself to a standard. And what can I do in the now to make sure that whatever's happened before has shaped me today to get what I want tomorrow? Um, so, the biggest thing now where the fear comes in is that I don't have any regrets about what's happened before. There's, people who might be held down by their past, or there's people who might be very anxious about the future, or there's people obviously who are, sorted, they're chill, and that's, absolutely fine. That's amazing. But I'm one of those guys who's very anxious about their future purely because of this fact that, okay, I don't want to be wasting my time anymore. I feel like I've become so hyper aware about this whole concept of wasting my time on the wrong thing that it kind of weighs me down a little bit. It kind of makes me anxious that, okay, if I'm looking at the future, if I'm thinking way too much about the future, then am I putting my time in the right things in the today, right? And what I've realized is that even setting my own personal experiences aside, the concept of time is very funny when you look at it at like a universal scale, right? I feel like it's been glamorized that, okay, you've got time. And that is true. You do have time. People reset their lives at 30, 40 years of age, and it does work out. But I feel like it's the thought process that kind of confuses me at times, because at 16 or maybe 15 you feel like, okay, I've got infinite amount of time, I have so much time, I can do whatever I want. But just 4 or 5 down years down the line, when you're maybe 20, 21 years old, you feel like, oh, I'm running out of time. And maybe that comes in because there's a shift in your lifestyle, there's a shift in priorities, which is why you start feeling that, okay, am I running out of time? When it's just 4 or 5 years down the line, it's actually kind of crazy to think about how just 4 or 5 years of, you know time makes such a big difference in mindset. And this is just me that I'm talking about. It might not be the same for everybody, but this is just my perspective that I'm trying to, put out there. And I just genuinely believe that every choice that we've made and we are making does kind of, compound in the future. If it's a good choice, it's a bad choice, whatever it is, it compounds, right? Which is where that fear sets in, that, okay, when I am taking a decision, when I'm doing something, is it compounding in the way that I would like it to compound? Is it going in the direction that I want it to go? Which is where it kind of does get scary, that, and that is where that whole fear comes in. But I feel like slowly and steadily, I'm doing my best to kind of not let it weigh down on me so much, because I've realized that throughout my life, and I'm very grateful for this, that one way or another, it always works out. And it might sound very cheesy, very corny, but at least for me personally, whatever's happened in my life, at the end of the day, it has worked out for the best. I don't see it in the moment, and even to this day, I have gotten so much better getting through situations because I've kind of realized that okay, one way or another, in the future, this has worked out for me. Every failed project, every kind of situation that has not gone my way, I have gotten something out of it that has helped me make sure that okay, going forward this is not happening again, or even if it is happening again, I've minimized the damage that it can do to maybe me, as a matter of fact. So I feel like that's the biggest thing about it, that when I say I have a fear of wasting my time on the wrong things, that is because you're so hyper aware. It's because you have such a good understanding that okay, everything in my life is just in my control. There's nothing else I can do about it, and even if it's not in my control, there's nothing I can do about it. But whatever is in my control, that is in my hands, and I want to make sure that I get the most out of it. But you can't know until it actually happens, where this whole kind of just ties in together. It's like a beautiful web, honestly, of just so many different aspects of what makes a human individual to themselves, kind of all working together. Like, for example, with me, I am anxious about the future. I don't do well with uncertainties. And this fear of wasting my time on the wrong thing stems from that. But I do also realize that it's all paradoxical at the end of the day. So I think that's just a little perspective that I kind of wanted to share, that I wanted to put out there. If you're also kind of someone who's going through the same thing as me, where you're afraid of wasting your time on the wrong things, and I purely mean that even if you're doing something productive, you feel like okay, maybe you're working on a clothing brand, maybe you're working on a YouTube channel, whatever it is. um I feel like if you also go through something like that, just try to remember that at the end of the day, you do get something out of it. You are not wasting your time. You only waste your time until you get nothing out of it. But the beauty of life is that you always get something even out of nothing. So yeah, that's it from my side. That's just something I wanted to get out there. It makes me feel 100 times lighter, and I'm honestly glad that even I've started this channel. Not once have I felt with this channel that I'm wasting my time on the wrong thing, because this is something that I'm truly passionate about. It makes me happier. It makes me feel lighter, where even if it's just me talking to a camera, or even when I'm talking to people, it gives me so much perspective, not just about myself but even about others. So yeah, that's it for today. That's it for this episode. I hope whoever's watched, even if it's one person that feels relatable to this, I'm glad that you feel the same way, and it's completely okay to go through something like this. This is exactly what life is about. And yeah, I'll see you next episode. I'll see you next Thursday with the next episode of Internal Affairs. Bye.